John, is it kind of hard to believe that this is your third year at Pitt already?
Yeah, it is. I was actually just talking about that with my family the other day because sometimes we miscount. Because last year was really just a blur as a whole because, we only had, I think, 2 or 3 spring practices, and then we didn't come back until summer, and then everything was just different and out of whack last year. So I felt like I was still getting my feet wet and just learning my ins and outs of the program last year. Everything was just sped up. So, and my first year here, I got here, I think you guys know that I got here, in the middle towards the end of camp, and then wasn't cleared for my shoulder surgery until week 7 or 8. So finally, I'm getting used to things, how they are now, and things are hitting their stride.
John, what's the competition been like at linebacker this spring? Are there going to be enough minutes in every game for all you guys?
Yeah, there will. And the main quote that Coach Manilak's been using with us is iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. And we're all really making each other better. And we're all a really close-knit group as a whole. I consider, most of the linebackers to be my closest friends on the team, to be honest. We hang out a lot outside the facility. And it's really not awkward at all. We know that we have a lot of depth. We know there's a lot of competition and that we're all making each other better in the end. I don't think that, before the spring, everybody thought that it was going to be as competitive as it is, but I think this spring really showed that we have a lot of guys that can play and at a really high level.
John, as a team, these 15 practices, after last year, you guys only get 3. I mean, how important was it to get through a full camp going into the summer and what you guys will do then and then into August training camp?
Oh, it was huge. Kind of like what I answered in the last question, there's just so much depth at every position. Obviously this offseason, there was a lot of talk between who was coming back, who wasn't. So, there's guys that got to step into bigger roles, but this spring ball, other than that little hiccup with COVID, it went really smoothly. And I think everybody would say that we improved immensely as a team. No really big time injuries at all for the most part. We stayed really healthy. We got better. And I think if you look from today, the whole way back to practice 1, I think on both sides of the ball, we improved a lot individually and collectively.
John, what do you think are the biggest improvements that you've made as a player, this spring here?
Yeah, a lot. I think first and foremost, a wise man once told me the best ability is availability. And for me, that's been the theme of my career. For me personally, I never thought it was really, I think other people will tell you too, it was never really a question of talent. It was just, I was never available. I was always on the shelf. So I'm really lucky and thankful that, this spring I was able to compete at a high level, healthy the whole time. So I'm really happy about that. After that, really just, I felt a big difference because I put on, 15, 20 pounds this off season. Now that I've officially, completely molded into a linebacker, I feel a lot more comfortable with that weight. And I feel like it allows me to, play a good hybrid position where, I'm big and strong enough to be in the box, but also athletic enough to play on the perimeter as well. So I feel like this position really fits my skill set well. And I think I'm really comfortable with it now and I'm having fun out there. And that's the biggest thing. Coach Manilak has been great and he's allowed me to play fast and confident. He's really developed us as a linebacker whole a lot. And I think everybody would say that. And it's just, a change of pace, something different. And I think we really developed and improved a lot. So, yeah, I think my tackling improved. I think just my overall understanding of the defense has allowed me to play faster and more confident.
John, speaking from the defense as a whole unit, everybody wants to get better than the previous game, the previous day, the previous season. How can your defense overall be better than it was last year? In what specific ways?
That's a good question. I think collectively as a unit, we can be better, by the amount of numbers we have of guys ready to play. Last year we depended on some really, guys who played a lot of snaps. And now, as I talked about earlier, there's a lot of us fighting for snaps and a lot of good players who deserve snaps. So I think everybody brings something different to the table. Some guys cover better than others, some guys tackle better than others. But I think staying fresh and with that depth will allow us to, be strong in the fourth quarter and, later in the game. But I think for us as a whole, we can't get complacent. We know that our defense has been really good the past few years, and we kind of hang our hat on that. But I think going forward, we got to make sure we keep our foot on the gas pedal and trying to get better, like you said, every day, game to game, and make sure we're improving each week.
Hey, John, I know, obviously Nick and Davis had pretty strong performances today, and you have a veteran at quarterback in Kenny. What's it like from a defensive standpoint going against those guys every day, and kind of what have you seen in their development, particularly the two backup guys that played so well today? What have you seen from their development this spring?
Yeah, really, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense because we got to know who's in the game and who's going against us, because each quarterback really has different strengths and weaknesses that we got to prepare for. Obviously, with Nick, we knew he was going to be the X factor today because he can scramble. And obviously, Joey and Davis are more pocket guys. But yeah, Nick, our mindset going into the game today was we knew that he was going to scramble a lot, try to extend plays with his feet, and he did exactly that. On the touchdown with Lucas, it was a long play. I was the one covering him. Yes, I heard you guys asking him about that play right over there. So yeah, I was covering him, and then obviously Nick scrambled outside of the pocket, and Lucas started running the opposite direction. So I was chasing him across the field, and Nick put in a perfect position where I couldn't get to it. So that's the factor of the game that Nick brings that really is rare, and he uses that to his advantage a lot. And Davis and Joey have both grown immensely. We can tell that they're more confident this year in the offense as in a whole. So they're really good, and I think same thing, like consider the linebacker that they're making each other better and they're competing every day, and you never know what you're going to get. Like I said, they all bring something different to the table, but they've all improved a lot, and we could see it from practice to practice, and it's competitive. We talk stuff to them and they talk stuff to us, so we have fun out there competing with each other.
Anything final for John?